those things are so.
Genesis 23. Now Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died in Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went out to mourn and to weep for her. Then Abraham got up from beside his dead wife, and said to the Hittites, I am a foreigner and an outsider among you. Give me a burial site among you so that I can bury my dead. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Listen to us, sir. You are God's chosen one among us. Bury your dead in the finest of our tombs. None of us will withhold his tomb for burying your dead. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. If you are willing for me to bury my dead, he said to them, listen to me, and approach Ephron son of Zohar on my behalf, to sell me the cave of Machpelah that belongs to him. It is at the end of his field. Let him sell it to me in your presence for full price, so that I may have a burial site. Now Ephron was sitting among the sons of Heth. So in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city, Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham, No, my lord, listen to me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Again Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and said to Ephron in their presence, If you will please listen to me, I will pay you the price of the field. Accept it from me, so that I may bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver, but what is that between you and me? Bury your dead. Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms, and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the standard of the merchants. So Ephron's field at Machpelah near Mamre, the cave that was in it, and all the trees within the boundaries of the field were deeded over to Abraham's possession in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city. After this, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field at Machpelah near Mamre, that is, Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field and its cave were deeded by the Hittites to Abraham as a burial site.
This is the word of the Lord. In verse 5, the Hittites replied to Abraham, Listen to us, sir, you are God's chosen one among us. Bury your dead in it the finest of our tombs. None of us will withhold his tomb for burying your dead. The first offer. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. He said, If you are willing for me to bury my dead, he said to them, Listen to me and approach Ephron, son of Zohar, on my behalf, to sell me the cave of Machpelah that belongs to him. It is at the end of his field. Let him sell it to me in your presence for full price, so that I may have a burial site. Verse 11. No, my lord, listen to me. This is Ephron. He said he gives him the field, and he will give the cave that is in it. He says he gives it to him in the presence of his people to bury his dead. The second offer. Again Abraham bowed down before the people of the land and said to Ephron in their presence, If you will please, Abraham is pleading here, listen to me. I will pay you the price of the field. Accept it from me, so that I may bury my dead there. Verse 14, Ephron answered Abraham, Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. But what is that between you and me? Bury your dead. That's a third offer. Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the standard of the merchants. What I'm seeing here is that here Abraham was described as the chosen one. The chosen one. Verse 6. You are God's chosen one among us. They were able to identify that. People, I believe, are able to identify those who are chosen, who are God's chosen ones among them. People are able to identify when God's chosen one is among them. Here, the Hittites themselves made Abraham an offer, and Abraham was intentional in who he accepted from, and more, but not only accepted from, but who he knew what he wanted. He didn't just simply accept anything that was given. He knew what he wanted, and he was willing to pay the price for it, full price, not accept it as a gift, but full price for what he wanted. And I believe that's a very important lesson here. Situations in life, certain seasons of lack, certain seasons of poverty, and being without and having to depend on people and receive help from the hands of people, and sometimes not only help but also pity comes along with it. Some give from good intents, yes, and sometimes there are some give from good intents, and sometimes there are ill intents, wrong motives, self-seeking attached to that giving. But all the while, they are aware that the person that's in their presence is someone that's chosen by God. And so in those seasons, sometimes persons they receive help to get by. They receive help to get by. But it is not such a good place to be, to be at the mercy of others because they have helped you. It seems Abraham, the father of faith, the father of many nations, had a very good understanding of independence and being free from what can sometimes be a trap of people's kindness. People can use their kindness to manipulate others. Kindness for some is transactional. Because they've been kind, they expect something in return. And that can be weaponized. Kindness can be weaponized by manipulators to exploit, to take advantage of, to prey on others. In the previous chapter, we saw where the king of Sodom was offering Abraham spoils from the war, And Abraham said he swore he would not accept anything from him, lest he says he made Abraham rich. There are seasons in our lives when we ought to be very careful of who we receive from. There are seasons even when there is a need. But for our protection, it is best to free ourselves from any obligation to the giver by paying full price. Paying full price. There are so many lessons here about how persons of faith, generational wealth builders, operate. Abraham got up from beside his dead wife and said to the Hittites, he said he's a foreigner and an outsider among them. So that's how he sees himself, as a foreigner and an outsider. And he said, to give him a burial site among them so that he can bury his dead. They replied to Abraham, listen to us, sir. You are God's chosen among us. So Abraham saw himself as a foreigner and outsider, but they saw him aright. They saw the truth about him. They saw that no. You clearly think that you are simply some foreigner and outsider. You think you are some just a sister in Christ, or you seem to think you are just a member of the church. You seem to think that you're just a classmate, just a co-worker, just a friend, just someone that, no, that's what you think that. But we know who you are. Sometimes one can be around persons and they don't know how they are perceived. They don't know that persons can see the light in them and on them, and they don't know that persons can really and truly perceive that they are God's chosen among them. Some persons are moving around and they are aware that this person that they are moving around every day, they are God's chosen. They are God's chosen. Even if the person who's chosen does not see it in themselves. And so that is why it is so important to be careful who we receive from, because they can very well know that you are the chosen. You see yourself differently from the way they do, and they know that you are chosen. They know that you are God's chosen among them, and that knowledge informs their giving. So you see the Hittites here, they are giving him an offer. They're like, no, bury your, like, it would even seem as if anyone Abraham came across, or let's say the Hittites in themselves, it would seem as if they are jumping at the opportunity to bless him because they see how much of a blessing he is. But was it from pure intentions? Sometimes some people are hasty to give to you, but is it from pure or right intentions? They said, listen, you are God's chosen among us. Bury your dead in the finest of their tombs. None of them will withhold his tomb for burying his dead. Sometimes persons are very quick to run, to aid, to bless, to give. But is there a subtle motive behind it, informing it? Is it the knowledge that you are the chosen among them? Are they doing it to buy favor? We have to be very careful who we receive from and not let desperation, hunger, whether physical or otherwise, thirst, whether physical or otherwise, lack, regardless of how real it is and feels in the moment, inform our receiving, because not all persons give with pure motives and intentions. Abraham he passed on that offer. He was very intentional regarding what he needed and what he needed. There, I do not see any other recollection much of him making requests. So that is also another thing for those who are God's chosen. I do not see him making requests for things that he wanted. This here is a need for his wife, someone who was very dear to him. It was a need. And so I do not see where he was just asking them about wants. It was about need, and he also knew exactly what he needed. He knew who to go to for it, and he went to that specific person. What I see here is that sometimes there's something that you need in specifics, and others would come just because they want to give, just because they want to be on the train of, just because it's like they want to ride on that train of giving, because they know that there's some favor attached to you, or they know that you are God's chosen. So they want to jump on that opportunity. Don't only accept because persons are giving. Do you need it? Is it relevant to, is it specific? Is it something that you need? Are those the people you need it from? Meaning, persons may come just to give because they want to be attached to you in somehow, or they have ill intent. They know that you are God's chosen among them. So they come and they're giving you just anything actually that they find. Anything that they find, they're giving. Sometimes you don't need it. You really truly do not need it. Don't accept it. So why accept it? Abraham didn't ask, even though they were giving him the finest of their tombs, and they said none of them would withhold their tomb for burying his dead. He did not accept it. He did not accept the finest because that is not what he needed. He said to them, listen to me and approach Ephron of Zohar on his behalf to sell him the cave of Machpelah. Abraham needed the cave of Machpelah. He didn't accept their finest tombs. That is a lesson. He wanted the cave he needed the cave at Machpelah. He was willing to pay for it. He didn't accept their finest tombs. We know what it is that we need. There should be a willingness as hard-working servants of God to pay for what we need, and not to accept even the finest of other things that they're giving us that we don't need. He said, let him sell it to me in your presence for full price. That is integrity. That is dignity. That is independence. That is faith. So that he may have a burial site. Ephron was there and he said, no, my Lord, listen to me. He said he'll give the field and the cave that is in it. Abraham asked for the cave to be sold to him. It is at the end of the field. For the cave. He is offering Abraham the field and the cave. He said he would give it in the presence of his people to bury his dead. The field and the cave. This is speaking so much about people, yes, observing when you are God's chosen among them, but also you as the chosen among them exercising self-control, releasing and relinquishing greed, not taking more than is needed or needful or is necessary. Being independent, being willing to pay full price for what you need. Not being willing to accept handouts and favors because you do not know what is attached to it. Again, Abraham, to be honest, some persons, when the first offer, when they said they'd give him the finest of tombs and no one would, they said no one would withhold their tomb. The finest. Some persons would have been like, yes, thank you so much, and been on there. They don't understand the price, the cost that comes with that. No, because some persons have ill intent. What is their reason for their giving? Is their giving from in a connection that no, they feel entitled? And then the second offer, he said he'd give him the field and the cave. Some would have said, oh, you are so kind. Thank you so much. May we understand the value of integrity, of self-respect, of honoring the calling of God upon our lives, of faith unfeigned. And of not giving to greed and to have self-control and wisdom. Abraham said, if you will please listen to me, he will pay the price of the field. Accept it so that he may bury his dead there. Ephron. So why, you see, why are they so not only ready to give, because Abraham is favored by God and they can see it. They observe that he is was God's chosen among them. So he was favored. He had favor. Why it seems they were just so willing to give to Abraham. Could it have been only pure motives or other motives there? Then he said, the land is worth 400 shekels of silver. But what is that between you and me? He said, to bury his dead. And some would have said, okay, thank you so much, and been on their way. Abraham agreed to his terms and weighed out for him the price he named. He did not the thing. There is so much wisdom here. Ephron didn't say, I will sell it to you for 400. He only mentioned the worth. Abraham only wanted to hear how much the field is worth. So the person you go to and they're like, what's that between me and you? No, it's only for this amount of money. It's fine. No need to pay me. You only need to and that is from people who have the integrity in their dealings and are not looking for shortcuts or handouts. You hear what it is worth, and you are willing to pay. It says Abraham weighed out for him the price he had named. The price he mentioned. You just hear them mention it. 400 shekels of silver, according to the standard of the merchants. So Ephron's field at Machpelah, near Mamre, the cave that was in it, and all the trees within the boundaries of the field were deeded to over to Abraham's possession in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city. After this, after he had gone about it in a way of integrity and respect, in an honorable way, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave of the field at Machpelah near Mamre. So the field and its cave were deeded by the Hittites to Abraham as a burial site. This is such a lesson of how we go about business as God's chosen people, as wealth creators, as generational wealth creators. As children of faith, we go about our dealings with integrity, with honor, with self-respect, with obedience, with wisdom, with clarity, with independence, with a right stature and standards, not seeking handouts or seeking an easy way, because sometimes persons are giving with wrong motives. Are they giving because they want to be attached to that favor which they have observed on your life because they see that you are God's chosen? Are they giving because they want easy access to you? Are they giving in order to get your favor? Are they, what are their intentions? What are their intentions? Why are they giving? Why are they giving? And let me encourage you, if you have been in a season where you had to receive from people because at the time you did not quite see any other way out, and what you had received from people really seemed, just really like a blessing, like, help. And it may have been because God uses people to bless others. We are blessed to be a blessing. And so if there was that season and you accepted from the hand of people, it is not too late to decide who you will accept from, if you will accept anything freely, or if you will pay for things in full. You can stop. You do not have to continue to only ride on, people's gifts. And no, you can. It doesn't matter the systems or the structures or the people around you or the ideas it does not matter. You can decide to stop just receiving any and everything at the hand of people and to go about business in a way of integrity, of self-value and self-respect, to where if you need a thing, you are willing to pay full for it. You are willing to pay full for it. You are willing to go without or to pay full for it. There's also, I believe, this principle of when you relinquish receiving free things, it motivates you to seek out better ways to get that which you need, other than waiting for somewhat of the easier route. Meaning that if you are not earning enough to cover your basic necessities and you have had to rely on the giving gifts and kindness from other people in order to really get by, refusing to accept anymore what you do not need, refusing to accept from persons, it there's such a sense of dignity that you get, such a sense of dignity, and in relinquishing their gifts, you now are having to seek out ways to get reputable ways, sustainable ways to get that which you need. And isn't it such a blessing? There is a beauty in being freed from depending on people. There is such a restoration of self-esteem, of your self-confidence, of a feeling of self-worth, because you are not at the mercy of people because of their kindness. We must be very careful of who we accept from. Not everyone gives with pure motives or pure intentions. Not everyone. Some persons give in order to benefit. To benefit because they see that you are God's chosen, and they know that you are God's chosen among them. So they want to be a part of the crowd, or they want to associate with you in some way. Some give as a means to manipulate. They give so that you will feel a sense of obligation to them. Some give in order to pray on you, to have access to you so that they can pray on you. Because they gave to you, they now feel like they have some sort of entitlement to you. Because you gave to them, now you cannot tell them no, and they feel entitled or obligated to access to you. May we be very, very, very careful who we accept from. May we be very careful, because not all persons are giving from a right and true place. And as generational wealth builders and as persons of faith, as God's chosen people, we must not accept from everyone. And may we be obedient to relinquish any greed or fear-based receiving, and limit it to things that we need, and be willing to pay the full price, to go about our business in a way of integrity, of self-respect, of value, of faith in God, of trust in the Lord, not in the uncertainty of riches, not in men. It doesn't matter who is giving and giving. No, do you need it? Why are they giving? May we be very careful. May we be very careful, and above all, trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not to our own understanding. In all our ways, acknowledge Him. In all our receiving, in all our dealings, in all our transactions, acknowledge Him, and He will direct our paths. And if you have accepted from people who may not have had right and true motives, surrender it to God. He can erase the handwriting of ordinances against us, turn the leaf, begin a fresh start. Those who you are able to repay, and step into a new season with a lack of people hanging on to you and requesting you and seeking from you as repayment for what they've given you. Because they've given with a transactional mindset, they are now grabbing onto you and holding onto you and expecting from you because they've given. May we be careful. May the Lord